We track our sleep cycles, set strict dopamine detox protocols, and study endless podcasts on resilience hacks. Despite this constant maintenance, many find their focus fractured and their baseline anxiety higher than ever. This struggle with mental friction stems from the environment we inhabit, rather than a lack of personal willpower. 40 years ago, the childhood of Generation X looked entirely different. Outside of school hours, their time was largely unstructured and unsupervised. They moved through neighborhoods without digital safety nets or adult intervention. This historical environment combined physical risk, periods of boredom, and a lack of modern convenience. Psychologists observe a paradox here. This high-friction childhood appears to have built a mental architecture that handles modern discomfort with surprising ease. These decades served as an accidental psychological gym. The daily resistance Gen X faced forced their developing minds to build the resilience that many now try to replicate through biohacking. In the late 20th century, entertainment operated within rigid boundaries. Saturday morning cartoons ran in a specific window from 7 until noon. If you missed that window, the shows were gone for the week. There were no watch later lists or streaming archives. Late at night, the broadcast day ended entirely. The screen shifted to a geometric test pattern, accompanied by a steady, droning tone. This created an unavoidable separation between the hours of consumption and the hours of rest. This chart illustrates the scarcity effect. Limited access to a reward manufactures anticipation, creating a healthy dopamine cycle where rarity increases value. Continuous 24/7 access breaks this. The brain's response flattens into a low-level baseline, leaving the viewer constantly stimulated but rarely satisfied. This enforced boredom protected the nervous system. The lack of constant input allowed the brain to recover and genuinely value stimulation when it finally became available. Maintaining connections required active mental storage. You had to memorize the phone numbers of your family, friends, and neighbors, carrying those digits in your mind. Fact-checking involved physical effort. To settle an argument or research a topic, you pulled heavy volumes from a shelf and searched alphabetically, or waited for days until the local library opened. Today, technology handles this through cognitive offloading. Because our devices store our knowledge and directions, our brains no longer practice the specific skill of internalizing and retaining complex data. Even music had a cost. You would wait by the radio for hours with a finger on the record button to capture a favorite song onto a cassette. This demonstrates the effort justification effect. We assign higher value to things that require a high cost in time and labor to obtain. Forcing the brain to tolerate delays and expend energy for information trained a capacity for patience. Modern instant search engines have largely removed the friction necessary to maintain that skill. Millions of children returned from school to empty houses, wearing their door keys on strings. These Latchkey Kids managed their own afternoons, solved their own problems, and supervised siblings for hours before an adult arrived. Playtime involved unregulated risks. Mainstream toys like lawn darts featured heavy, metal-tipped points designed to be thrown through the air by children, often without any adult supervision or safety guidelines. Psychological danger was also present at the breakfast table. Throughout the 1980s, children ate their morning cereal while looking at the missing posters printed directly onto milk cartons. These children absorbed this ambient danger and loneliness without constant parental reassurance. They learned to self-regulate their own fear and boredom until those feelings became a mundane part of daily life. This daily exposure to friction built a baseline for resilience. Confidence is forged through the experience of surviving discomfort, rather than being shielded from its existence. In the drive for a more comfortable life, we have removed nearly all waiting, friction, and environmental risk from our daily routines. We have automated our schedules and ensured that entertainment is always available. By creating an environment of constant availability and minimized risk, we inadvertently bulldozed the psychological gym required to maintain mental strength. A brain evolved to overcome resistance struggles in a frictionless world. Much of our modern anxiety is the result of a mind with nothing to push against. Strengthening the mind requires re-evaluating our relationship with everyday discomfort. We can find value in the friction we have spent years trying to avoid. Resilience is manually forged. It It grows when we choose to sit with silence, endure delays, and navigate the empty spaces of our lives without reaching for a screen to fill the void.